Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. We are live in an undisclosed location in Southeast Iowa. I am your host, Andrew David Krutzinger, and this is my co-host over here, Hunter, don't know his middle name, Moeller. Hunter Brooks. That's a pretty strong last name.
Next to me.
The notorious HBM. Yeah,
Brooks.
that wasn't even close. And Alex, I have no idea what your middle name is. Sometimes I forget your last name, Snyder, but I didn't today. But if you rewatched last week, I totally forgot and then just never
like
said
Alex.
it. We are here on a lovely Tuesday morning in September. And
The 5th.
September the 5th. 5th of September. That's not it. It's the 5th of November. Today is not a special day at all.
Yep.
Actually, September 5th is not a holiday anywhere.
Unless it's your birthday. Shout out anybody with a September 5th birthday.
Yes, you know what? Shout out anyone with a September 5th birthday, like
Michael Keaton.
Oh, Alex already had it.
Oh,
It's Michael
man.
Keaton's birthday today. Oh,
There you
man.
go.
Freddie Mercury, Kaio CYR. He's a TikTok star 23. No idea who that guy is. Happy birthday to Bayashi, another TikTok star. How are there like 400 TikTok stars on celebrity birthdays now? Michael Keaton,
Hey, man.
number 13 after 12 TikTok.
Times. Michael Keaton.
I'm going to start a movement to just get all the TikTok stars back up.
Where are you going with that?
I say the word eliminated, but that's not the word I meant. I just mean like they're not famous anymore.
Right.
And wipe them off the face of the earth. Not wipe them off the face of the earth, but like
Not literally,
the record.
but-
You know how like when a Roman king would come over, take over for the Roman king, and they would just wipe them out of history completely?
Yeah, they just burn all the history.
Yeah, all the books and stuff. That's what happened to all the TikTok stars. Anyway, we are not on TikTok.
Yeah.
But we are on, where are we at, Hunter?
Man, we're in a couple places. You can find us. If you're watching us now, you're probably on Washington Live's YouTube, but you can also find us on Fairfield Live and Mount Pleasant Live Facebook as well. We're also on Spotify under Washington Live if you want to listen to us and watch us there. And I don't know if you said we were sponsored by Fairway Food Stores, but we are
sponsored, powered.
powered by Fairway
right.
Food Stores.
That's right.
Just
When there
throw
were
that up there.
When there were 4 footsteps in the sand, that was when we were walking side by side with Fairway Food Stores.
Yep.
When there were 2 footprints in the stand, that was when Fairway Food Stores was carrying us. We're gonna you heard that anyway. We're going to talk about a little bit of football. But you know what? I'm going to apologize to all the TikTok stars. I'm going to dedicate this episode to all the TikTok stars. Only the ones that have birthday, because that's like 4,000 of them.
Yep.
Birthdays on September 5th, so we'll get into that later. But let's talk about high school football. Hunter,
Yep.
you had a busy day, but let's start with the second game you were at. You went to Washington High School, and we thought that they might have some trouble with the old visiting Burlington Greyhounds.
Yeah,
and flip that, because Burlington had a little trouble with the Demons.
Yeah.
Having.
Yeah, start out the game. That kind of narrative was holding true for the first, 7 minutes of the game. By the way, this one ended with Washington in a pretty dominant victory, 32-7. But Burlington opened the scoring pretty quickly. Just over 5 minutes into the game, went down. Burlington's Gabe Robinson, their quarterback, 3-yard rush. They converted a fourth down. Just before that, 33-yard completion set them up inside the 10, and they ended up scoring on a 3-yard rushing touchdown. Took a 7-0 lead there, but as by the final score, that was all the Greyhounds would get on the night. So that's 3 quarters and a little change, and a little bit more is pretty well done job by the Washington defense there, as you can see. But really clicking on both sides of the ball through the night. Logan McDowell, Washington quarterback, looked great on the ground. Because really after that, Washington just started clicking. Then on Washington's next drive, the first drive ended with 3 and out. On the next one, they went 6 minutes. McDowell found the end zone from 5 yards out. They converted the 2-point conversion. So Washington took an 8-7 lead, and that was pretty much all they would need to win it. But they just kept on the gas pedal all night. Midway through the second quarter, they went 50 yards down into Greyhound territory, and McDowell hit Mason Morgan from 21 yards out for their second touchdown of the game. McDowell's second there, first through the air. Another 2-point conversion by McDowell made it 16-7 with 6:05 left in the half. It wasn't the end of the night for the McDowell Morgan connection there. After another defensive stop late in the second there with about just over a minute to go, Washington faced a 3rd and 10 at their own 28. McDowell dropped back and kind of lofted one up to Morgan. Morgan leapt up, hauled it in, and ended up taking it 72 yards of the house there. So another 2-point conversion. Made it 24-7 with 1:09 to go in the half. After kind of a quick third quarter, Washington got in the end zone one time. This time, Cale Williams from about a yard out just pretty much put the nail in the coffin there in that one, and closed it out with that with the 32-7 victory there. Stat wise, McDowell finished with 82 yards. On the ground and 1 touchdown. In the air, he threw for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's see here. Morgan ended with 93 yards and a touchdown on the receiving end. And then in total tackles, Chase Griner had a big night. One big tackle for a loss. Got a good picture of that one. 7 total tackles on the night. And, Kason Evans had, 10 yards on the ground. Williams ended with 27 yards on the ground, so kind of a all around great night. A little bounce back win after a tough loss to Oskaloosa in week 1. Demons looking good there against the SEC opponent there.
Yeah, I think Oskaloosa had a nice result too, so that kind of showed that was a pretty high quality game on week 1 for Washington. How many rushing yards did you say McDowell had?
McDowell had 82 rushing yards to lead them.
See, I made the mistake. I have to just apologize because I made the mistake the other day. I was discussing Washington football. I was talking about how the quarterback for Washington always has a lot of rushing yards. Maybe I apologized for this last week, but McDowell has impressed me with how he's been able to kind of carry the load for Washington quarterbacks rushing. I thought it'd be more of a hang out in the pocket type quarterback, but the system calls for it. So, super impressive start for Washington.
Yeah, and he, and as a quarterback, he carried the ball 19 times. I mean, the next one was, Williams, Cale Williams with 8 carries for, like I said, the 27 yards, 1 touchdown, and then Kason Evans with a pair of carries for 10 yards, and then Lucas Ricky also had 2 carries in the game. So, I mean, really a lot of carries for the quarterback there, and he only threw 5, he only completed 5 of 7 passes. But for 108 yards, they were making big plays. Obviously, the 72-yarder to Morgan there was kind of the highlight of the passing game there. I forgot to mention the other receivers. Connor Leiden also had a catch for 19 yards, and Luke Beanbossum had a pair of catches as well. So, I mean, I think Washington's kind of more of a run-heavy team, and McDowell can get it on the ground. So I think they're rolling with that, and I mean, he's efficient at it, so why not?
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of quarterbacks that like to run, Mount Pleasant had to play against one of those, and Caden Schwenker, who had a nice game for West Burlington. So MP goes into West B and falls 47-28. Kind of an interesting thing about Mount Pleasant so far, they've lost both their games by a good amount, but they have 3 special teams touchdowns so far, which is pretty crazy. So at one point, West Burlington was up a few scores early on. Mount Pleasant ran the ball pretty well in the first half. In fact, Gerald Turner was already over 100 yards in the first half, but West Burlington led 27-7 thanks to turnovers. Mount Pleasant came back. They scrapped back to cut it to 12 points with the ball. And West Burlington kind of put the nail in the coffin on a pick 6. I was in Winfield, which we'll talk about, or I was in New London, which we'll talk about a little later, but I got to watch the end of this game on the West Burlington Independent School District YouTube page. Shout out.
They do a good job doing it.
They do. I wish they had a broadcaster, but it was like quiet. It was just silence. But you know what? I had some time with my thoughts. But as I said, the way that Mount Pleasant came back was, West Burlington would go up 3 scores, and then Mount Pleasant scored on a kick return by Jackson Newman. So now they have 2 separate kids that have kick return touchdowns. 85 yards for Newman on that. So then West Burlington scores again, back up 3 scores. And then Gerald Turner scooped up a fumbled punt return and took it 42 yards to the house. So 3 special teams touchdowns, not because Turner had return touchdown last week against Fairfield.
Huge beginning of the season for him, man.
Yeah, he has had, I mean, a huge year. Just big plays is the big thing. He's got such big play potential. Last week, I covered the Mount Pleasant game live, and he could have broke a couple of his other kick returns. And they decided to feed him the ball on the ground. They threw him the ball a lot against Fairfield. This time they gave him 22 carries, 174 yards, no touchdowns. Peyton Walker, 40 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground for the Panthers. Cooper Coleman threw for 24 yards. Completed all but 3 passes, but 2 of those incompletions, West Burlington came down with a couple of interceptions for the Falcons, and then Peyton Walker and Payson Coleman both co-paced the team. Payson was pacing the team with 2 catches, and not a lot of passing yards against the West Burlington defense, but they were able to do stuff on the ground and a lot on the in the special teams. And it looks like Kellen Cohurst here with 4 tackles. Led the defense. We mentioned Turner's fumble recovery touchdown was the only takeaway for the Panthers. So the Panthers they've had the big play. I mean, all the big swing plays that you talk about, besides the pick 6, have been going Mount Pleasant's way, but between the tackles have been where they've struggled so far this year. So they play at Tipton. Tipton's 2-0.
Yep.
So we'll see if they can pull something out next week. And then the Fairfield Trojans. Speaking of wacky games.
Yeah, this one was.
So Fairfield goes into Fairfield and Fort Madison. Of all the SEC schools playing against each other, they're the teams that have had kind of the weird games the last few years. The last 2 have been dominant Fort Madison games, but before that,
last year's I was in Fairfield, and that one was probably the wildest ending to a game that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and then
what
happened at the end of the last year?
If I remember right, it was.
Oh, no.
I think if it was Fort Madison, Fort Madison had the ball with 30 seconds left, literally at the 1-yard line. And then I think, if I remember right, 4 straight downs. Fairfield stopped them, and then the game went to overtime.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, and it was how are they going to keep them out for 4 straight downs on literally the 1-yard line? But they did.
Yeah.
I think if I remember right, that's how it ended up.
And then Fort Madison won by 3 at the end.
And with a field goal in overtime.
Yeah.
So.
And then the 2 years before that, Fort Madison dominated, and I was at a crazy homecoming game that saw Fort Madison beat Fairfield. So the Trojans almost won their first against the Bloodhounds in 4 years. Fairfield had won that thing 30 years in a row before that. Fairfield was up 5-0 early in the game. Field goal and a safety. Great football score.
Yep.
William Penn, little sidebar here, William Penn beat Missouri Baptist 6-2 this weekend.
Oh, nice.
But it was 5-0. Fort Madison came back, took the lead. And then Fairfield scored. Luke Consul busted out a big run, the only real super long offensive play of the day, I believe, for the Trojans. That scored, so they were up. And then Fort Madison scored again. So at halftime, it's 14-12, right? So what does Fairfield go out and do? They got their second safety of the day. Tied it up 14-14.
Do you know by chance what? I don't even know how they got how did that happen? How did they
I know
get so
it was
far?
running back the very first time around. So I don't think it was a botched snap or anything like that. It sounded like just running back getting tackled in the end zone, gang tackle, I believe. But
And they're going to put them in deep in their own territory then.
Fairfield had a. Last week when I got to watch them at Mount Pleasant, they were in the backfield a pretty good amount. So that's been one of their big advantages this year so far. So it was 14-14. Then it was a little bit of a stalemate. I got to listen to a lot of this on the radio on the way back from New London. But neither team could get stuff going until the last few minutes of the game. Fort Madison scored on a rushing touchdown. Fairfield was driving to try and tie it. Interception. Fort Madison holds on. That's 5-0 over the Trojans. But it's another, Fairfield almost went 2-0. And we thought Fort Madison was going to be really good. Fort Madison beat Burlington by a similar score. So yeah, we'll see how the Fairfield Trojans fare. And who does Fairfield have this week?
I am looking.
I know who it is. I was just asking rhetorically because it's Fairfield Washington week.
There it is.
Speaking of crazy games, they had one last year against each other. The comeback at Case, where Washington was able to storm back and beat Fairfield. So that was in Fairfield. There has not been a football game at Trojan Stadium yet. They had 2 road games to start. and we'll see how the Trojans respond to that close loss in the Highway 1 rivalry. So, yeah, we have more football to get to, but we have so much football. We're just gonna sandwich it with a nice little commercial.
Yeah.
So we will be back. We'll be. I heard Alex laughing over there. Thank you to all the sponsors. We're going to cut to a commercial break, and then we're going to come back with some small school football, a little Winfield, New London to start things off. So stick with us.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
When you aspire to be a dancer, you are both an artist and an athlete. Your strength combines with beauty and grace seamlessly. Your efforts result in enhanced coordination, the ability to cooperate and compromise with others, and the confidence to perform in front of an audience. Not to mention the fun you will have and the lifelong friendships you will develop. We are enrolling now for fall classes, and we would love to see you shine like the star that you are. Join us for Dance and Tumbling at Stairway to the Stars. Please visit our website for online registration.
I am Melissa Westfall with Homegirl Realty. Heather and Charlotte and I have worked together for many years, and we have always had a vision to have a business together.
I'm Charlotte Howard, and the good news is we bring a very high level of experience. We have a combined 80 plus years of experience in this real estate marketplace.
I'm Heather Merrick, and Homegirl Realty brings a lot of things to the table. We have phenomenal communication with our clients, buyers and sellers, to make sure things are going smoothly and you don't have anything to worry about.
Welcome back. It is Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live, powered by Fairway. I want to give a little shout out to TikTok star Mia Riley and YouTube star Beck Brojack. Both have birthdays today, according to CelebrityBirthdays.com. So congratulations to you guys getting a year older.
Yep.
Both younger than me, though. In fact, a lot of these people are. So yeah, Jake Riley, I think that's another Riley possibly, YouTube star. Happy birthday. We're talking a little high school football. And I was at Winfield Mount Union. No, I wasn't. I was at New London High School, where Winfield Mount Union was visiting. I think I teased this last week that one of my first ever football games to cover for the newspaper was in 2015 when I covered Winfield Mount Union at New London. And Winfield won by a lot that day, and that was the last day that Winfield had beaten New London in since until Friday night.
Yep.
So we got there. Winfield Mount Union is ranked number 2. They were coming into a New London team that lost a lot of seniors last year, rebuilding team. So it was Winfield was a pretty big favorite.
Yep.
and people knew that. But Winfield was still even more impressive than I would have thought. They scored right away on the second play of the game. Winfield Mount Union 2 years ago, Cam Buffington, who was their star obviously for anybody who's living under a rock, played quarterback, and they did a lot of QB runs so you could have the ball. Last year they moved into running back. This year they are doing so much out of the pass game. They're splitting them out. So you got Buffington over here, you got Abram Edwards over here, and you have to cover those guys with however many guys you can throw at them. And so he scored on a deep ball, and then about 5 seconds later, he scored on a little swing pass. He had 3 catches for 140 yards and 3 touchdowns. A Randy Moss stat there for the Wolves. By the way, the final of this was 78-16, and it was 56-0 at halftime and 72-0 after 3 quarters. So all Winfield Mount Union. But the star of the game was Cole Milks. I just said Cam caught 3 passes and took them all to the end zone. Cole got 5 carries. He was handed the ball 5 times. He ran for 170 yards and 4 touchdowns. Just scampered everywhere. Cole was the quarterback last year. They've switched it up. Jake Edwards is the quarterback
Where's he playing
this year.
Where's Milks playing?
It's 8-man, so it's a little it's spread out.
Yep.
He plays running back. They're able to sneak him through where you have to have so much attention on the passing game when there's these big Division I football players spread out. And so they just, give him a little handoff, and then he squirts through. But he was breaking tackles. He was loose. He actually almost scored on a punt return touchdown. And he every single time he touched the ball, it was going somewhere. So he had a great game. I thought Jake Edwards looked great under center. But Winfield breaks so many tackles. One of the times when I was on the New London sideline, one of the New London kids was walking off, and he said, I don't know what to do. I got as low as I possibly could. He's like, what? He wasn't even mad at himself. Those are some tough guys to tackle over there. Winfield Mount Union, we've seen them grow into they're seniors now. And pretty tough. Carter Lloyd had a 46-yard touchdown reception for the Wolves as well. Eli Miller ran for 52 yards and a couple of touchdowns. On New London's side, Gavin Mickey Bailey went 11 for 20. I thought he scrambled away from pressure. He was pressured all night. He made a lot of little scrambles. He had some good balls. They actually had a couple of drops when he'd find guys with a little bit of space, but he threw for 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he did get picked off once. And then the running game for New London wasn't quite there. Mickey Bailey was their leading rusher with 11 yards. London Franklin had 10 yards. They had 28 altogether. So that was really where Winfield was able to. Yeah, Winfield made them throw the ball. And as I said, the Winfield's bigger and taller. But Cale Westerbeck had 41 yards receiving. Israel Limley had a 37-yard touchdown reception. And Brigham Porter, 3 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. So I thought, as I said, New London was able to spring some guys loose. They have a lot of speed, but the size difference was all Winfield. So. I won't even bring it up yet because you're about to talk about another ranked team, and we'll have the rankings in online today, the New Gazette rankings, and in the paper tomorrow. But you got a ranked team with Waco, and they had a ranked battle, and they look like like they have for the last 3 years, right?
Yeah, Waco taking on Iowa Valley. Obviously, last year I believe it was pretty lopsided. This time around, same deal here. The Warriors number 5 last week. Really through a half, it was all the Warriors. They led 20-0 through those first 2 quarters. They continued to tack it on the third, added another 12, led 32-6 heading into the fourth. But the Tigers did outscore the Warriors 16-14 in that fourth quarter, but by that time the deficit was just too great there. Clayton Miller, who's playing quarterback for them this season, went 5 for 7 in the passing game and for 84 yards. And 2 touchdowns. Also led on the ground for them, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns on 13 carries. So big stat there. Loudon Housing Gate had 84 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns as well. He also caught 3 passes for 61 yards and 2 scores. And on the defensive end, Housing Gate finished with 8.5 tackles and 2 for a loss there. So Warriors keep rolling. As you just mentioned a little while ago, that Waco-Winfield clash is going to be, I think, one for the ages. Instant classic.
Possibly the biggest Waco-Winfield game of
in a long time.
History.
Yeah.
I can't think of another time they're going to be both ranked in the top 5. So go ahead and we'll talk the rankings right after you get done with this little roundup.
Yeah, a huge win for this next team. Sigourney Kyoto obviously suffered a loss to PCM. Both were ranked in week 1, but Sigourney Kyoto bounces back in week 2 with a win over former number 8 Class 2A Mediapolis, a little shutout victory, 21-0. The Cobras led just 7-0 at the half, but found the end zone twice in the third and fourth to seal it there. So Sawyer Stout led the Cobras 75 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Jake Moore threw a touchdown as well. Isaac Bruns, big night on the ground, 131 yards and 1 score. Cole Kindred and Brody Griner each caught a pass both for scores. And then Moore ended with a team high 7.5 tackles. So Cobras get back in the win column there. Looking real good on the defensive end. Obviously, big in the ground game. They don't throw it too much, but seems like every time they do throw it, it's scoring a touchdown. So every time we look at the stats there, but
That's similar to last year as well.
Yep. Another team that likes to get it done on the ground. Another bounce back win. Huge, pretty lopsided victory here for the Columbus Wildcats. Back in the rankings this week, you'll get to that. Columbus
alert.
49-6 over Wapello. The Wildcats scored 35 points in the first quarter on their way to that 43-point victory. Kane Amagon ran for 164 yards and 5 touchdowns. We were kind of used to seeing that stat line from him.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is stuff that if you just rewind to last year's show about this time, you heard the exact same stuff.
Riley Kalberg ran for 73 yards. Defensively, Elliott Wesley had a team-high 5 tackles. Pekin and Van Buren County facing off here. Usually a nice little battle between the two teams. Pekin getting the better of the Warriors this time around. I think Van Buren beat Pekin last year. I think you might have been at that game.
I was at Van Buren Cardinal last year.
That's what I'm thinking.
But yeah, Van Buren I think did beat Pekin. Pekin looked a lot better this year than the last couple of years. They're up and up.
Big win for the Panthers, 52-12 over the Warriors there. Will Adam threw for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns for Pekin. Sven Dahlstrom ran for 157 yards and 2 scores. And Riley Smith followed with 152 yards and 1 touchdown. So two kind of eye-popping stats there for two of their players on the ground. Robert Brown, Adam, and Henry Adam all ran for a touchdown. And then Henry Adam led in receiving with 76 yards on 3 catches. Dahlstrom and Brown both caught touchdown passes as well. And Nolan Glick and Dahlstrom both had a team high, shared with 5.5 tackles there. Now on to our losses last week out of the Union area. Highland falls to Danville, who's first season back as a program since I can't remember.
Oh, it's been 5-6 years since they've been with.
They were
with
Mount
West
Pleasant.
Burlington first, and then they were with Mount Pleasant. So it's been a while since Danville had a fun fact. When Danville lost their football program, it was Winfield Mount Union's homecoming. Danville was playing Winfield Mount Union that week, and they ran out. They said we only have like 10 kids. We can't play, and that was the last game until this year. So heard they had a cool air evac, bring the ball down.
That's cool
because that was also Danville's first home game. But
that's cool. But Danville gets the win here over Highland, 33-12. They were tied through one quarter on Friday night, but the Bears went on to score 13 in the second, 14 more in the third, and 6 in the fourth on the way to the win. Sage Hartley Norman for Highland threw 1 touchdown. Logan McFarland ran for 111 yards and 1 touchdown. Aiden Havel caught one 14-yard touchdown pass, and then on defense, McFarland finished with 12.5 tackles, 9 of which were solo. So kind of a nice little game for McFarland there despite the loss. Regina Catholic tops Mid-Prairie on Friday night, 51-19. Regina Catholic seems to be kind of on the up and up. I feel like they won a state title like 4 years ago, kind of out of nowhere. I remember that, but
it's hard to. Mid-Prairie's kind of in a rebuilding mode. They had a good amount of seniors, especially on the running game last year. Regina Catholic's not the team to play second game after you're doing that, especially when it's a rivalry.
Yep. The Regals built up a 17-0 lead through a half, and then just Mid-Prairie couldn't make it up. They bounced back with 19 through the final 2 quarters, but the Regals outscored them 34-19 there in the third and fourth. Brady Weber, 99 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He also had 1 rushing score as well. Hudson Aaron Felt had 75 yards rushing, and Kobe Hirschberger tallied a team high 57 receiving yards. Blake Swart, Dylan Henry each caught a touchdown pass, and Landon Sullivan led on the defensive side with 8.5 tackles. And then our final game on the roundup here. No stats for this one. when we did this story. But Central Lee 55-0 over Cardinal. The Hawks led 34-0 through one half, and then they scored 24 more in the third. And really, the Comets just couldn't get on top of the Hawks. But Central Lee, I've heard. Oh,
what happened?
That
was a little
flash.
Yeah, I know.
A little trippy, wasn't it?
It was a little trippy.
But the Hawks have been playing well the first two games, so they seem to be kind of a tough team down south. So
yeah, Central Lee has been two of our teams in a row. So and they almost took out our power when we were talking about them. A little update on the rankings before we go to our next commercial break. Last week, Winfield Mount Union was 2. Waco was 5, but they were both tied. This week, Winfield Mount Union all alone in second, even though number 3 Anita Cam did get one first place vote. So they're eight votes behind Gladbrook Rhinebeck for the top spot. Waco is now number 5 all alone, and 5 votes back from Lennox for the 4th spot. So it's going to be interesting whoever wins that game. Yeah. Although I quote from Scott McCarty, the Winfield Mount Union football coach, he said, because I asked him, I always like to ask, how you guys ranked? Is that kind of in your head at all? Yeah. And he said, I tell the guys, what does it mean to be? What was yesterday?
Yesterday was Monday.
Holiday.
Oh, Labor Day.
Labor Day. I always get Labor Day and Memorial Day mixed up. He said, what does it mean to be ranked at Labor Day? Nothing. So he's not too concerned with the rankings. But Winfield Mount Union 2, Waco 5. Welcome back to the rankings. Columbus Community slipped in there, tied for number 10. And Sigourney Keota, that's, by the way, obviously Winfield and Waco are 8-man. Columbus is Class A, number 10. Sigourney Keota is 1 vote out of the top 10 in Class 1A. And Cobra fans, you can't blame me because I did have them, I think, ranked number 8 even. So they got 4 votes. A couple of those are from yours truly. Don't write into us.
Yep.
So they'll be in the paper next week. Like West Burlington, Notre Dame's getting some votes.
Really?
Mediapolis dropped out. They lost anyway. Those are other local teams. Now I'm just scrolling through the rankings because I like scrolling through the rankings.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, so that's all the football we have. We could run through, I guess. There are some big games coming up this week. Winfield, Waco, as we said, Mount Pleasant at Tipton, Washington, and Fairfield. We have, I had another one that I wanted to talk about. But I should have been more prepared when I started to say the sentence. All our games
I always
next
forget
week,
about the games
because I had them fresh on my brain, and now they're not. So whatever. You know what? I'll run through a couple of them when we get off commercial break. Yeah. So we're gonna go to commercial. We got a little bit of volleyball and cross country to talk about as well. We saw some volleyball on Thursday, so we'll talk about that. So stick with us, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Yep.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
At 5 Star Community Credit Union, we want to help you lead a better life. We offer competitive rates and convenient appointment times for all kinds of loans: auto, recreational vehicles, home equity, line of credit, holiday, and personal loans. We make it easy to build your credit and enjoy the good things in life.
We invite you to join 5 Star Community Credit Union. We are community-minded and member-focused. Come visit our locations in West Burlington and Mount Pleasant or online at 5starcu.org. Federally insured through the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
At Brown Shoe Fit, we pride ourselves on traditional sit and fit service that's been serving the Mount Pleasant area since 1952. At Brown's, we have shoes for the whole family. From kids to adults, we carry the finest footwear for every occasion. Whether you're looking for something for work, casual wear, or exercise, we've got you covered. And don't forget about our selection of safety toe footwear for both men and women. Come visit us 6 days a week and experience the best in traditional sit and fit service. Brown Shoe Fit, where quality and tradition meet.
Bring the kids and share the memories from steam engines, antique cars and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Maybe your memories are of great food from the North Village to the Log Village, or learning how to square dance over at the Dance Barn. This is the place where memories are made. Make plans now to enjoy the history of the past at the 2023 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 31st through September 4th in Mount Pleasant. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
Welcome, Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live, powered by Fairway, and we would like to wish a happy not that one. That one's an inappropriate name. Happy 21st birthday to Jocelyn Mayer, a TikTok star, as well as Minecrafter 2011, TikTok star. That means he was born in 2011, right? He's 20. Nope. I don't know why I picked 2011. Happy birthday to you guys. And one more, TV actor Bob Newhart, 94. Anyway, you have to, if you skipped the football stuff and wanted and just came for the volleyball and cross country, you got to rewind to the beginning of the show to get that. Happy birthday, 19th birthday, Nadia Jocelyn, TikTok star. We are powered by Fairway, and you can find us on Washington Live's Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Mount Pleasant Fairfield Live's Facebook. We are live every Tuesday, and then a lot of you guys watch this on replay. Please share the video, or at least tell people to watch it.
Yep.
Once we get enough viewers, we're going to have giveaways and stuff. I talked about that a couple episodes ago. Go ahead and give those clicks. You know what? Well, that's not true. I was going to say at least click on every episode to get the views up, but they got advanced statistics, so they know when you're skipping around, when you're rewinding. So just throw that on. At least throw us on in the background. Come on.
Right.
Aren't we, we're the kind of voices you like to hear in your living room.
I think so.
That's what one review said that I said right there. What?
Really?
I just said it. That was what I said.
Okay.
That was what I was counting as a review. But
I thought you actually saw a review. I was like, that's kind of,
I mean, what kind of trouble can we get if we just say that was a review of our show? Kind of voices you like to hear in our living room. By the way, the football game I was trying to remember is Van Buren County's at Highland. I froze up because I knew it was Van Buren, and I was like, which of our other teams are they playing? So that's another big a game this weekend. And Danville, after the first one, has to go to Pekin. Pekin be going for 3-0. So we're going to talk a little bit of volleyball, and you and I were both at volleyball on Thursday. It seems like a long time ago because we've had Old Threshers, we've had football. But let's see. You want to talk about what game you saw on Thursday? Holy Trinity in New London. Marquee matchup, ranked matchup.
It always seems like it's the regular season games. Anytime the two teams meet, it always feels like it's a postseason kind of atmosphere. Obviously, Holy Trinity has been one of the top teams in the state for
ever. Probably since Earth.
And New London has been right there, and but. Obviously, coming into this one, Holy Trinity rated number 4 in Class 1A. The Tigers were rated to begin the season. Are out of the rankings now. It's been a tough start for them. Played some tough competition though. They have the likes of West Burlington, Holy Trinity, Notre Dame, all down in the south. So, it's gonna be tough anytime you have those teams. But it was a 3-0 sweep for the Crusaders over the Tigers last Thursday, 25-9. 25-21 and 25-19. Really, Holy Trinity, controlled the majority of the first set there, and it was just going to kind of look like, New London was kind of trying to find its identity, and it seemed like they kind of got into a rhythm the final two sets, as you can tell by the scores there. Really, Holy Trinity got a 16-9 lead in that second set. They kind of looked like they were going to pull away again. New London didn't let up. Sophie Malot's serve eventually made it 18-19. So kind of a nice little run there by the Tigers. And eventually, 4 Caitlin Allen serves that were kicked off by a Tyson Gipple kill on the first of first serves. Tied the match at 20-20 there in that second, but the Crusaders scored 5 of the 6 following points to pull away in that second set. And then in set 3, much of the same. Nice little battle between the two squads there. They were tied 6 times throughout, the final coming at 17-17. And the Crusaders, Natalie Randolph, notched a pair of kills, followed by 2 more points after that. And that would be all they needed. New London did kind of pull back into it, made it cut the lead to 3. Gipple got a kill to make it 21-18, but Holy Trinity scored the next 4 to win it there. So,
but they played with them pretty. They played with them. I mean,
the number 4 team in the state.
Yeah, that Holy Trinity beat somebody else that we cover. I think like 25-2, 25-3 the other day. So Holy Trinity is very, very, very good.
Yep.
High, number 2 ranked, one of the state favorites. So that's good to see. New London, no matter who they lose, they are always there in the conversation.
And
so
really, you look at their team, this season. You look at Sophie Malott, Tyson Gipple, Morgan Jones. Those kind of 3 were like probably the only 3 in their starting lineup there that
were big
kind of got minutes last year. But
Sophie Malott's been a pretty nice player for them the last couple.
She led with 7 kills, 10 digs. Gipple had 5 kills, 1 block, and 9 digs. And then Allen there, Caitlin Allen, had 15 assists leading there. Morgan Jones had 16 digs. So,
There we go. Well, while you were in New London, I was in Packwood for the Pekin Highland game, a little Super Conference North opener. First real North game where it counts in the league play. I think Highland had played Hillcrest. Hillcrest actually beaten Highland in a tournament a few days before. And it was the Highland Huskies, 25-14, 25-16, and 25-15. It was definitely an early season type volleyball game, and where there weren't a ton of super long volleys. Highland serving was the difference in this one. I believe 11 aces for the Huskies. Let me triple check on that to make sure that's a real stat that I just didn't pull out. And say yes, 11 aces. Sarah Burton and Adeline Cross both had 3 aces. Courtney Chalupa had 2 aces. Sarah Burton had 5 kills to lead the way. For Highland, Lainey Skelton had 7 assists. Madison Beeson, I believe, ended that one with 16 digs. So it was Pekin was in the game at the beginning of each of, especially the first 2 sets. In fact, Pekin took an early lead, and they had a lot of energy in the building. I thought it was pretty loud at the beginning of the sets, but when you serve like Highland did, when you serve that much better than your opponents, that it's pretty tough. They have some rocket serves there that Pekin just had trouble, a lot of serve streaks for the Huskies. So Pekin spread the kills around a lot. Maya Bainbridge and Ava Gillum had 3 kills apiece. Maya Bainbridge also led the team with 9 assists. I have a sneeze coming in, but it's like hanging on there, so it might be coming. Spoiler alert. Alex Parsons, 9 digs, and Casey Miller and Peyton Coleman both had 7 digs for the Panthers. So Pekin, I've seen them twice. Honestly, when I saw them at the Waco tournament, I thought they looked better than last year. There were definitely flashes during Highland where I was like, yeah, they look like they could, but they just haven't quite got over the hump and got a win there. So Highland looked pretty good. I think that they are a real contender in the Super Conference North because of who they have back. They've got a really tall front line, and 4-2 now for the Huskies. So this could be a big year for Highland volleyball, but it is very early in the game for that. So, and then let's see, Washington volleyball was at tournament this weekend. We might see them tonight. We haven't decided where we're going. We know we're going Fairfield and Keokuk tonight. The Trojans are going to try and stay hot in the Southeast Conference. And Columbus and Winfield play tonight in a game that I think could be pretty interesting, kind of in that top half. The Super Conference North, which is where most of our teams are. Yeah. It's just kind of wacky because last year it was so dominated by Waco and Winfield Mount Union. And A lot of those seniors are gone. I think Waco still looks really good. But we've seen Van Buren pretty darn good in the South. You said New London, so we're kind of getting trying to get our footing. West Burlington's ranked. Holy Trinity's ranked.
Notre Dame, I don't think is ranked, but is.
Yeah, I saw them at the Waco tournament. So we never know till the once the tournament. Well, the Super Conference tournament is really that's what kicks off the fall sports. Like the fall sports, like here we are in the real postseason.
Right.
Let's see, where did I click here? You got any volleyball on your side we need to chat about? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
We're kind of still feeling out who our big volleyball teams are. There was a little cross country this weekend. The biggest meet was in Pella, where Mid Prairie and Mount Pleasant both were. So they split these guys up into, they all race together, I believe, but they have the small schools and the big schools when they send out the results. But then they also have a combined result. So I'm just going to go with the combined results. But know that Mid Prairie was the best small school there. Daniel Hostetler won the race. Shocker. Overall, she beat all the small schools and the big schools, 19 minutes, 31 seconds, which was about 30 seconds ahead of the top Pella girl, Pella. Pella had 2nd through 7th, and that is when you combine the big and small schools. Mid Prairie as a team, as I said, they won the small school, but if you combine them all, 57 points, which is the second best on the day to the hosting Pella Dutch. Mount Pleasant ended up 12th overall out of the 12 teams there. Hostetler was tops in the big race. Greta Siren was 10th. Abby Fleming 15th. Abby Fleming 14th. Stutzman 15th. Phoebe Shetler 17th. Annika Pohl 30th. Thesipol 31st. Now again, when you look at the small school results, those are a lot better. I'm reading off the combined results, so officially those are all better. Anyway, Mount Pleasant was led by Nellie Peterson, who finished 54th. Jaden Yoder and Monroe James, 57th, 69th. Those are two names to watch. So a lot of good freshmen coming to the Mount Pleasant track team this year and next year. Tatum Kane and Haley Parrott, 12th, 72nd and 78th. So little cross-country kids finally getting their legs under them. No cross-country today because of the same reason that our lights just flickered. I saw that like SpongeBob with the Hashling Slasher episode. But yeah, you ready to watch some cross country this year?
Yeah.
I'm ready to get out there. Fairfield's cross country meet on Thursday at Waterworks Park is one of our first big meets. That's actually going to be our first live meet. Yep. Hopefully the rain stays away for that one. That is Thursday, I believe 4:30. One of my favorite meets. That's kind of one of those. There are certain things that happen during each sports season to where it's like, oh, that's kind of like we're in fall sports now. We're here at Waterworks Park in Fairfield. So
then we're gonna be throwing on the sweatshirts before too long.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
Apparently today is the last 90-degree day.
Oh no, how's Friday gonna look? I wonder. That's really that first football game where you don't bring a jacket, and then it's like early third quarter, and you're like, oh, it's getting a little chilly, and then you're like,
yeah, that's the worst. You're like, and then you hit the fourth, and you're like, I definitely should have brought.
Now, I'm ready to get out of here. This is no longer fun.
I've made that mistake before.
Yeah, when it's freezing, when it's already freezing, and you have your big coat and stuff, then it's okay because you're ready for it. But nothing worse than being cold and you're in a t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
It's horrible. I'm sure there are a couple. By the way, happy birthday to Allie Tanneretti's YouTube star. What do we have? Anything else? It's 11
I don't
o'clock.
think so.
We went for like an hour today. Apologize. No, we don't apologize.
Hey,
Apologize
NFL
to Alex because he probably wanted to get out of here earlier.
Football's back, baby. Thursday night.
Back.
Kansas City, the Lions.
That's right. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, by the time you watch Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk again, unless you give this a replay, which I wouldn't blame you for, that'll be NFL.
Week 1 will be complete.
Pretty excited. We're probably going to talk a lot of fantasy football after the cameras shut down. So, we have anything else?
I don't think so.
What should they do, Hunter, if they like this show?
They should share it and like it and comment.
That's right.
They should do all the things.
That's right. And you know what? We're on these Washington Live, Mount Pleasant Live, Fairfield Live. We got other shows. We have morning shows in Washington.
Tune in and watch
Alex. I believe wasn't the show this morning entitled "Getting to Know Producer Alex Snyder." So if you want to get,
we'll have to tune into that one. I need to tune into that one.
Yeah, that's right. We'll throw Alex on camera here one of these days. For Alex, for Hunter, Fairway Food Stores, for Chloe Calendra, TikTok star who turns 23 today. I'm Andy Kretzinger, and we'll see you
next week.